right. Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. That's the best y'all can do. Y'all done had y'all some honey baked ham. Now y'all tagged. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to our first ever Parent Town Hall series. Let's give it up for you all. You guys will be our guinea pigs. You are our inaugural group. So this is our first town hall series. So you all will be the first group to give us feedback on how you felt about the town hall series, on what we can do to improve for our next series. This will be a 3-part series, and we do value your feedback. So again, good evening and welcome. Thank you for taking time to be here tonight. Your presence means so much and reflects the strong partnership between MedCura, McNair, and the greater McNair community. We all have a common goal, and our common goal is to support our scholars. And we're here tonight to discuss some strategies and resources and ways that we can do just that. The purpose of tonight's town hall, again, is to create an open, supportive space for learning, dialogue, and conversation and collaboration around mental health supports, as well as some other supports that MedCura can offer to you all as families and McNair can offer to you all as well. We are grateful to have a panel of esteemed guests here tonight with us who will bring valuable expertise and insight into the conversations. They are here to share information, answer questions, and help connect families to meaningful resources and supports. To ensure everyone has an opportunity to participate and give their input, you all have index cards that you were given by MP Washington. Please use those index cards to write down any questions that you all have for our panelists and any questions that you may have for myself, MP Washington, or any of the MedCura staff that's here tonight. This will allow us to gather your thoughts and address as many questions as possible, and we'll do more of like a forum style questionnaire. Okay? Again, tonight is all about partnership, and your voices matter, and together we can continue building a school community where every child feels safe, supported, and positioned for success. So again, thank you all, parents and families and staff members, for being here tonight to talk about what matters most, and it's your children. Thank you. So that was our welcome and purpose. Now I want to introduce our esteemed panelists as well as our MedCura staff and any staff members that we have from McNair. So we'll start with the staff members from McNair because that's most of us in the room. All right, if you are a McNair staff member, please stand. All right. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, we have some more staff members coming in. Thank you so much for your support. MedCura staff, if you could stand up, please. Thank you so much for your support. You guys know who I am. And now I'm going to introduce our panelists as well as give you all a brief bio about who they are so you can start formulating your questions accordingly. All right, our first panelist we have is Dr. Wilson Phillips. Dr. Wilson Phillips is the founder and chief medical director at Kids Doc on Wheels Incorporated and is an esteemed member of the MedCura Health Pediatric Department. Dr. Wilson Phillips earned her medical degree at the Medical University of South Carolina School of Medicine in Charleston, South Carolina. She completed her residency at the Emory University School of Medicine. Dr. Wilson Phillips is certified by the American Board of Pediatrics, the American Board of Obesity Medicine, and is a member of many professional and community organizations. Thank you so much, Dr. Wilson Phillips, for being here. And last but certainly not least, you all should get familiar with this face. Dr. Joshua Omade. He was born and raised in the DMV, and if you guys don't know what that is, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I said it right, right? Okay. Where he attended the University of Maryland, College Park for his Bachelor of Science in Cell Biology, as well as his Master of Science in Physiology from Georgetown University. He completed his medical school training at Boonshoff, is it Boonshoff? I said it right. School of Medicine at Wright State University and finished general psychiatry here at Morehouse School of Medicine. Currently, this is a PGY 5 child and adolescent fellow dedicated to understanding and working with the dynamics of parent-child relationships and societal systems that shape the day-to-day lives of our patients. Everyone, let's welcome Dr. Omade. Some important people, right? So now you can start formulating your questions that you may have according to who you know who they are now. And again, no question is a dumb question. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer anything you guys have. Absolutely.
So I'm so happy to be here and to support the McNair School-Based Health Clinic. And with Dr. Coleman, because my philosophy is it's all about mental health, physical health. And so I want to start by, oh, your mic, can you hear me now?
Testing, testing.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is such a wonderful concept. And to Dr. Bishop, the principal here at McNair School-Based Health Clinic, I met her a couple of years ago when the clinic was starting. And to nurse practitioner Washington, you have a phenomenal team of clinicians and her medical assistant, Kim. This is just a phenomenal concept to have here at McNair School-Based Health Clinic. So I wanted to start off by saying, I want you to raise your hand if your child is 6 or older, 6 or older, okay? And I want you to put your hand down if your child has had their annual checkup within the last year. If they had their, so leave your hand up if your child has had their exam within, okay. So looks like quite a few of you have had your child's annual exam, which is great. So my point is that we want to make sure that your child has their annual checkup. And what we're seeing is a pattern throughout the pediatric community. Our families are accessing health care for things that are required by the school. And that's including like a vaccine, or if they're needing that 3300 form for hearing and vision and dental. We want you to make sure that your child's health is assessed annually, because I receive so many consultations and referrals from the school based on my child having a behavioral problem. But when I look back in the chart and confirm when is the last time that the child had their eyes checked, when did they last have their hearing checked, and when we see that they haven't really had those things assessed as well as their developmental state, okay? So we want to make sure that you're connecting with your clinician, because the deficiency in those things, as you remember when your baby was born, their hearing was checked. That was one of the things that was checked, and you saw the clinician and they checked everything out to make sure that they were age appropriate. That age appropriateness is continued to be confirmed by their pediatrician. And so we want you to establish that relationship with your school-based health clinic, that they know your child's comprehensive health, and if there's anything that appears to be off, they can make the necessary referrals. So just an opening comment, and maybe that's triggered some questions with you, but
So, so yeah, this one works. Now I was gonna say so I'm half African, so my dad's Nigerian, my mom's African American from DC. So when I saw my phone fall out of my pocket, my dad has this thing where he says my kidney fell. So that's the first thing I was gonna say out of my mouth. So one of the things I wanted to kind of just connect with what she said is that it's really important to have this opportunity to see a pediatrician on a regular basis. The reason why is that oftentimes the referrals that come in to get seen by folks like me start with the care in the pediatric office, right? That's where you're getting that initial look-see on how your child is doing, how your child's developing, and maybe some indications that maybe things are changing or need to be further evaluated. So I want to echo what she stated with respect to being seen on a regular basis as often as we need to make sure that whatever care modalities need to be used and ventured out, we can make those potential connections had as early as possible. Okay? And then as far as my role as a psychiatrist, I specialize in dealing with mental health related problems, and that can look like a variety of different ways. There are different ways in which we treat it. Obviously, medications is one part of the hat, but there's also elements of therapy and things of nature that we do engage in. And so, part of the reason why I think it's important for folks to be here, like myself, is that to help to demystify some of the conversations that are had about how mental health treatment goes. There's movies that show a variety of different ways about how it gets done. It's not quite like that, okay? And so, my goal in helping out with stuff like this, but also the work that's done within the clinical space, is to give you an opportunity to have a conversation about what goes on and what are the ways in which we can help your child grow and develop to the stars that they can be.
Thank you so much, you all. Let's give Dr. Wilson Phillips and Dr. Almaday another round of applause for that intro. That was very, very informative. Thank you so much. How this will work, again, you have index cards on your table if you need more than MP Washington, or I can also pass out more for you. I will serve as a moderator. So what you'll do is if you have any index cards with questions and you're ready for our panelists to answer those questions, MP Washington or myself will come and grab the index cards from you. If you could just give us a little signal that you're ready, and we'll bring the index cards up here, and then I will read the questions to you all, and then they'll answer them to the best of their ability. Please be flexible and give grace if they're unable to answer your questions. We will try to make sure we have an answer for you within 24 to 48 hours if it's something pressing. Is that okay? All right. Okay. Well,
so as you're coming up with your questions, I want you to write the word capital G, capital E, capital N, capital E. Then I want you to put a dash, and I want you to put R in lowercase RATION.
that spells generation, right? Okay, okay. I didn't win spelling bees, but okay, generation.
Generation, okay? So the reason I asked you to do it that way, and this just came to me in the last few weeks, but how many of us really know the history of our genes? And I was on a call this morning. I was just telling Dr. Omode that I was on a call with the Department of Family and Children's Services, and one of the speakers spoke about when we treat children, we're really treating two generations. And so I want us to realize that it's extremely important that we don't let February 14th, Valentine's Day, pass us without knowing the history of our family genes. And that comes when we're speaking about mental health, physical health. We all ask about heart disease. We all ask about diabetes. But how many of us ask about anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism? It's extremely important that we know genes. because all of these conditions are genetic, and so they impact our children, and it makes it very difficult when we don't know exactly the state of the history of our family. So I just wanted to throw that out there, just to get us started and maybe trigger some questions there.
I do need the mic. If you ever been to McNair, you heard me in the hallway. I'm very loud, y'all. I'm sorry. So again, Dr. Wilson Phillips gave you instructions to put GENE in all capital letters, and then a dash, ration, in lowercase, RATION. Okay? Well, if we don't have any Jeopardy music, then I'll give you guys a quick second to write your questions down, and yeah, we'll get started. Me and Dr. Washington are going to walk around, and well, I'm an educator, but she got a little educator in her too, so we monitor to make sure y'all on task. You Googling questions. So, Ms. Holmes had a good question. She's one of our parents. What kind of questions do I ask? And I told her that you can ask questions about what services MedCura offers, what are some ways that you can support your children regarding mental health, primary care for your children, anything that has to do with health. And remember, health is not a one-way street. It could be mental health, social, emotional, physical. So just think about those types of questions. And remember, there's no question that's not good enough, okay? It's no dumb question. We will answer anything you want to know related to healthcare. Gotta make sure we. All right, we got some questions. Ding, ding, ding. Who gave you the first question? They might need to win one of the door prizes. Who gave the first question? Dr. Goffin? McCleary? Oh, okay. Victor, okay. All right. Ooh-wee. Dr. Wilson Phillips and Dr. Omade, y'all got some tough questions. Y'all ready? Okay. All right, let's start with this question. With the new administration in Washington, what vaccines are no longer required, and should we be worried?
That's an excellent question. And so I've been practicing for over 30 years, and we have been vaccinating children, and and the main thing that has triggered all of this is autism, right? It's the A word. So let's just address it directly, okay? So when I look back on my 30 years of practice, and more recently, I am recognizing, because we've been educated and we're more knowledgeable about the traits that go along with autism, we are identifying it sooner than what we did before. And when I have some of my patients that are in their early 30s, and I'm hearing that they're experiencing symptoms and ultimately diagnosed with very high functioning levels of autism, I can say that I am seeing that the kids have more complex autism and it's more obvious now, and there's a higher population. But the vaccine rate has not changed. So I even have patients that have never received a vaccine, and I'm speaking about from the hepatitis B that they received at birth all the way through. They never had a vaccine, but they have symptoms of being on the spectrum. So do I think that vaccines? Absolutely not. But I do know that if we refrain from vaccinating our children, that we are really heading down a tunnel that we really don't want to face. And there are over 700 cases, I believe, in South Carolina, and the only reason I'm aware of that is because I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. And these are conditions that we as pediatricians have not seen. So the secondary consequences to actually experiencing these conditions that are vaccine preventable, we don't know what's going to happen. So if I can reassure you, is that vaccination is important, but having a consistent continuity relationship with your pediatrician and primary care provider is even more important, because they can educate you on your particular situation. So having that individual that's been a part of your life since the newborn state, the doctor that you saw when your baby was born, and to continue to be able to follow your child all the way through, is going to be the best advisor to give you a customized recommendation specifically for your child on the instance or the risk that you're taking with vaccinating or not vaccinating. But there are very few situations that we would recommend not vaccinating, very few. So vaccines are important.
And I always joke with the kids that I don't give you no shots. I'm the one doctor. I'm not giving you a shot for anything, right? But I wanted to add something to what she was talking about with respect to the discussion around autism. And so, one of the pieces of conversation that comes up, is the idea that we're diagnosing it more. There are more kids with autism and things of that nature. One thing we have to recognize is that not only have we changed, or rather fine-tuned how we go about diagnosing autism, we've gotten better screening tools, we're looking at it easier, we're looking at it quicker, we're diagnosing it easier, right, and more aggressive about our diagnosis. There's also become a greater conversation about what that looks like too, right? And so, one of the things that I will joke, particularly with my patients who look like me, is that sometimes when we talk about family history, we always have to ask the question of, okay, is there any family history of depression, anxiety, things of that nature? And oftentimes the answer immediately, oh, no, not us, not us. Right? But then the next question I have to ask is, okay, was there ever, Aunt so-and-so that we just used to, they go over there in the corner, right? Or, okay, or Uncle so-and-so that maybe, Grandma used to say he used to do things, right? Or, Grandma so-and-so was always so nervous, right? Yes, they may not have had that formal diagnosis, but there may have been some challenges with how in which they maneuvered and related to the things within around their system, right? And so in the same vein, right, when we're talking about autism, we're talking about all these different diagnoses, it's important to recognize that we as a medical society, and as well as the general society, we're learning more about how to better identify and help treat these folks. And so as a result, the numbers are going up, right? Because we're identifying these things. In the same way in which with other conditions, we're becoming better at the way in which we do our job and understanding kind of what's going on. And so I think that's also a very, very important piece to recognize, is that we're getting better as we're improving with technology, as well as our own understanding of these disorders, of how to better go about identifying and treating these folks. So that's really, really important to recognize and to put in context for some of these increase in the numbers.
Thank you so much. We'll move on to our next question. Why are kids constantly being given different medication for ADD slash ADHD, and it doesn't seem to work?
It doesn't work by itself. And not every child, there's a treatment plan that goes along with ADHD. And I'm not going to take away from what he's probably going to confirm and add to it, but ADHD is a behavioral disorder. And so in order to treat it, in order to identify it, there's symptoms that need to be known about this particular child's ADHD. What does little Johnny's ADHD look like? And so once again, we have to go back to the family medical history. And most of the time, when I see families, I only see one parent. And when I ask the family history about ADHD, it's always stated that they don't know about the dad. And that's why it's so important for us to know the family history for both parents in order for us to make an educational diagnosis, a completely holistic diagnosis that is addressing any symptoms that the dad may have had. I always ask about education. What level of education did each parent achieve? Because in a lot of cases, the parent will say, I didn't finish high school, or dad didn't finish high school, and we ask further about what was their educational experience like, and usually it's because of some impulsive situation that caused the parent to not be able to finish school, and then there's some significant family history associated with the potential diagnosis for ADHD. So when you come to medication, medication is not the only treatment for ADHD. I have some kids that they'll come in for suspected ADHD. We talk about their diet. We talk about what they're eating. We talk about the red, blue, and yellow dyes that they're taking. And I always ask, what type snacks do you provide to your child? Because the snacks are usually the ones that's maybe triggering some of it. When you see a child that may have a bag of Takis and everybody starts fighting over a bag of Takis, which has red dye, it's like, something must be wrong. And the question came earlier from DC, what's going on? When you have an announcement from a governmental agency that's saying, oh, we're removing these particular foods and dyes and things of that nature and how we produce our food here in the U.S., where things are not even allowed externally in other countries. So treatment, first it's got to be diagnosed. First, you have to know the symptoms, and there has to be behavioral modification for that child to know what their ADHD looks like, because as they get older, we may be able to complement their success in the elementary school environment by slowing them down with medication. But as they get older, they're going to start resisting the medication and not have a clue on what their actual condition is. So I'll pass it over to you, Dr. Manaka.
So, a couple different things. So, for one, when it comes to treatment of behavioral health disorders like that of ADHD, I try to provide a point of comparison with other conditions that people are more familiar with. So when we talk about ADHD, right, the question was asking about different medications and why maybe this one didn't work versus another one didn't work. That's a fair point to ask. I'd also charge everyone to have that same conversation when it comes to other conditions. So how does everyone raise their hands up who knows somebody with hypertension or high blood pressure? Now, keep your hands up if you know somebody who's taking more than one med for the hypertension. 3 meds, 4 meds, right? So let's switch to a different condition, diabetes. How many people know someone with diabetes? How many people do we know someone who's on multiple medications for their diabetes, right? And so the reason why is that everyone is different, right? Everyone is different with respect to how they respond to medications, right? And how their body takes to some of the adjustments that need to be made with respect to this change in status. The same thing applies to ADHD and behavioral health related conditions. And so when it comes to that, right, there's an opportunity, yes, for sure, for medications to have their effect, but there's also a element of the behavioral modifications that were mentioned, right? So we're talking about things that are happening in the school, right? Things that are happening at home. One of the things that is important when I or any other psychiatrist diagnose ADHD or any other mental health condition, but specifically talking about ADHD, it's the idea that we're having both an assessment from what goes on at home and also what goes on at school. I can't just take what the teachers are telling me about or what the staff are telling me about what's going on with the kid without understanding what's going on at home. If those two things are similar, right, there may be some differences, right, but if those two things are similar with respect to some of the challenges, then that's when we usually can confirm a diagnosis of ADHD. Within the criteria, you must show it in two different spots, right, so it can't just be one place. And so when we talk about that, that means that the treatment has to also come in multiple different places and come in multiple different ways. And so yes, the medications, it may be different for every person, but as we just saw by a raise of hands, it takes a lot to treat a lot of different conditions. As a result, we got to find something that works for different people, right? That's why there are new medications being developed that have different profiles and how in which they, target specific symptoms as well as how they're tolerated by the body. And so I want everybody to understand that yes, there may be some trial and error that comes with treatment, but that's not anything different than what we deal with other conditions. Just so happens that it may be a little bit more of a challenge at times when our kids are not necessarily being able to behave and do the things that they need to be doing when they're in the school setting.
Thank you. And yes, we are very well aware of the Takis, the Taki epidemic. All right, next question. How do you identify developmental delays and if that is the reason for my child's behavior problems?
So when it comes to developmental delays, it's the two-piece. So for one, there are some screening tools that we do use that have been developed over time through various research opportunities to have an understanding, okay, these are the things, these are the milestones, these are the check marks, if you will, of things that are typical for a child at a certain age and level of maturity, right? And as a result, that gives an opportunity to objectively look at what's going on from a kid to kid to kid basis. And so when we use those tools, that gives an opportunity to look at the data and find out, okay, what's going on, what specific domains is this child having to kind of overcome or deal with in a unique way. Additionally, though, there also comes a bit of nuance in terms of us having an opportunity to see, okay, is this a matter of nature or is this a matter of nurture? Meaning, are we in a situation where maybe a kid has challenges, let's say, with respect to math, right? Is it a situation where the kid has a specific issue with math, or is it that there's not enough support that has been facilitated for this child to learn and understand math-related concepts, right? The same way when we're talking about, challenges around reading or challenges around their general grade level abilities, right? We have to understand both the nature and the nurture of the situation. And so that's why when it comes to those diagnoses, not just a one-stop shop. Oftentimes these encounters will take longer than the typical encounter that you may have. So that 30 minutes to an hour that you may typically deal with, it may go a little bit longer or maybe broken up into multiple visits. Sometimes it also looks like us being able to partner with a psychologist who is more attuned and trained in using a variety of different screening tools to get an assessment of what is going on with that child from a developmental standpoint.
So developmentally, we're looking at speech development. We're looking at the child's motor skills that can sometimes lend us to identifying that there may be some behavioral or developmental concern there, okay? So that's why it's important that beyond 2 years old and up until 2 years old, we have very frequent visits for those health checks. But it's extremely important for you to have consistency. I keep saying it, and continuity with the same provider, because they're going to know from visit to visit if the child is progressing appropriately. So the earlier that we can identify that a child is demonstrating developmental delays, we can implement the appropriate therapies that's going to help to maximize the child's skills. I'll give you an example of a little girl that I met a couple of years ago. When her mom brought her to me, she's presently 6 years old. When her mom brought her to me at about 4 years old, she told me that the child did not speak between 2 and 4 years old. So all the way up until 2, 4 years old, she didn't speak. She had no speech development, none, not at all. And I was like, wow. And so I asked her if she was engaged with speech therapy. And she said she was going to speech therapy every day after school between the ages of 5 to 7 years old. I saw this little girl about 6 months ago, and her speech was like there was not any delay at all. So what took place? It was because of the early identification that there was some delay in her speech that they were able to rectify. She is on the spectrum, but she is highly functional where she is in advanced classes academically, but she has to have the support for rationalization and her, cognitive skills to accompany her symptoms of ASD or autism. So what am I saying? That the earlier that any of these developmental delays are identified, the appropriate therapies being applied, including occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy in some cases, the earlier that we can implement those particular therapeutic complementary services, the better the child develops. So it's extremely important for us to maintain that continuity and consistency. And when you're bouncing around from one facility to the next, that just makes it more complex and makes it more difficult for the child when they do get into a school or social environment that the educators are like, what's going on and what's happened, and can we correct this and make it better?
Thank you. Next question. Does your company offer a diagnosis for ADHD?
I've become like the ADHD specialist, but it's more so for behavioral problems. And so, yes, we do offer the assessments. But once again, I want to mention to you that the continuity of you having that consistent provider, the general pediatricians in most cases are able to identify and assist with the actual diagnosis. As Dr. Omode was saying, that it's an assessment of what's going on at home, and there are questionnaires that go along with that. There's a questionnaire for what the parents are seeing, and there is a questionnaire for what the educators are seeing. And so we take a look at all of those components and put it together to come up with a diagnosis. And it's not always ADHD. We can pick up anxiety, we can pick up depression, we can pick up some other conditions that's going on that may be affecting the child's behavior, okay? I've had 8-year-olds that have not been to a primary care clinician since they had to show their 3300 form when they were 4 years old. So they've gone technically 4 years without having their hearing or vision assessed. When we ask them to do the test for both being able to read as well as to see at a distance, they fail one of them. And they may have been already told that they needed glasses for school, but the child has chosen to not wear the glasses in school. So what happens when your child is sitting there is as if they have blinders on, and you're asking them to read something where they're working with digital devices or having to read, and they cannot see up close. So If I was a child, I'd be like, what am I here for? I'm going to do something else. So then it becomes a behavior problem. So the first thing that I do in making this assessment is I need to know what's the status of their annual checkups. The best birthday gift that you can give to your child is a checkup of their health. And this is not only for your child, but this is for for the parents and everything. But generations, we need to have the annual checkup because that actually gives us a baseline of what our health looks like. So in answering the question, as far as do I diagnose, do I work it up, do I do it in consultation with other subspecialists? Yes, we do. But everything that looks like ADHD is not ADHD. And so having that continuity and consistency with your clinician, you have the best here at a school-based health clinic, that every child in this school should not be missing their annual exam. I see a hand right there. Is that an amen?
Did you need an index card? If she needs to speak, it's okay.
Oh, y'all live. Okay, I have a nonverbal great nephew. He's 2. He don't go to school at all. And, I talk. And I have a grandson, too, and he just 10 months. And he got a little more speech than a 2-year-old. How does that, what can I do in the household because I can't do the I can't do that.
Does he have a primary care physician?
She says he does, but
Is he in this region? Is he in the McNair School-Based Health Clinic region?
no, she's in between homes at this moment.
So my first recommendation is for her to link up with a primary care physician. Once they make the assessment, getting the child engaged with a speech therapist and putting him in a social environment is going to help with the development of his speech. Reading to him every day, you said he's 2 years old, for 5 minutes of reading daily.
I have a 5-year-old daughter, and she loves school. Good child, gifted child. And she like books, math, everything in the house considered learning. And I read to this child, and I have blocks, index cards, crayon, coloring books, etc. And his attention span is not even attention. Like, he don't have no attention span at all. I can't get him to sit down long enough to even nothing. And he's
So the
2.
primary care physician can make the necessary referrals based on their assessment. Because he, is at the point maybe that he needs occupational therapy to help with his ability to stay focused and organizational skills. But that's a team of therapists really coming together and addressing the 2-year-old's needs. Great question. Great question.
Okay, my question was, as a parent, my child been going to McNair since he was in pre-K. And with his learning, he's real good at math, but with the reading and language arts, like he write his 6 and 9 always backwards. But when it come down to reading, he learning how to read, but when it's time to go back to it, it's like his memory, he's like, Mom, I don't know it. And he was in a reading program, and I guess they, as you in a reading program, they do testing, but they kicked him out the reading program. And when I asked the teachers or anybody else, do they have any more programs, the school don't have anything to offer. So as a parent, I want to know what else can I do, because because I'm reading with him, trying to teach him, and there's nothing else. Like, what can I do? Because he's good at math, and his it's called STEAM scores. His scores went up, but to keep progressing, what can I do as a parent? Because the school doesn't have anything else to offer, and he's writing his numbers and some of his letters still backwards, and he's now in first grade. He's been there since pre-K.
Is there any family history of dyslexia? So it sounds like it could be some component of dyslexia and why the numbers are being flipped, as well as, so think about it, if he's flipping his numbers and flipping the letters around, then the reading is going to be a problem because he's actually, the words are kind of mixed up and everything, and he may even spell words backwards correctly. He may even spell words correctly backwards. And so there is a, a component of, I'm not saying that the child may have ADHD, but there is a component. So there are resources that can support this dyslexia. So there's the occupational therapy and some therapies that we can refer to for suspected dyslexia.
I just want to echo that it's great of you to bring this up, and I think that's why it's so important to have that one-on-one conversation to really kind of get an understanding of what's going on. That way we can get them to the folks who specialize in helping with that understanding and really seeing what are the pitfalls that are being had with respect to how he's processing information around him with respect to the math as well as the reading piece. And so specifically, these are things that we can assess for, but the folks who do the day-to-day work with those individuals, again, it's a team, right? It's individuals who specialize in those different areas that really can help to focus that. But that starts with us kind of taking a bird's eye view of it, kind of saying, okay, there are some challenges around this. Who is the next person most equipped to deal with this piece? And continuing to work with them along the way.
And let me add to that as well. We do screen for dyslexia. We use what's called a MDLA, and a MDLA is a system where the students get on, they're supposed to get on for 30 minutes a week. There is a dyslexia screener component with a MDLA, and so once we get that data back, the kids are flagged in the MDLA system for us to look at and say, okay, we might need to pay a little bit more attention to this child because they're showing signs of dyslexia based on how they performed on the assessment. So there are measures in place at the school level that we do to screen for dyslexia. But as far as I heard you say retention, memory retention was an issue as well. Is that something that you've noticed for a few years, that when they learn something, they kind of forget it? Or
when it come down to his reading, it's like he doesn't remember anything, or he'll be like, okay, he know his letters, but when it come down to like sounding them out or pronunciation, it's like, okay. And I try not to get frustrated, but you have to keep going.
yes, and so if you're noticing those issues with retention and memory, that's something that we can talk about at a later time, you, me, the assistant principal, the teacher, just to kind of talk about some strategies that we can put in place. There's supports that we have at the school level under response to intervention, RTI, and we have strategies and interventions that are designed specifically for children who are having some reading difficulty, whether it be comprehension, fluency, decoding. We have interventions in place that we can put in place for your baby to support him at the school level. And then we can also talk about some home supports as well. Okay, so we got you. We got you, I hear you. And if you could do me a huge favor, put your baby's name down on the index card. Okay, can we get her another index card? Because I want to make sure we support her at the school level. Thank you so much. All right.
Good evening. Just a quick question. My question was read earlier, but just a little follow-up. And my son, nephew, the institution that he was in back in Jamaica, I pulled him from that institution because of the whole retention of reading. When he started living with me, the stigma of being, let me put it this way, slow learner or dunce. I don't know if you, dunce is like, yeah, you don't know whatever teacher is telling you. So that falls when they do not retain anything. Sometimes it comes that stigma that they're dunce. But however, being a parent, I kind of understand what, the situation that he's going through. So I picked that up. And also I said it to the principal and also the teacher that he's a bit slow. I've seen development in terms of his math, his the numbers, basically the number subjects coming home. But again, the retention of, reading and stuff like that, he's a bit slow on that part. What I have done personally at home is give him words to learn. Every week I give him like new words to learn. And then, being that I award him, if he gets 10, if I give him 10 words, if he get 8, I say whatever you want. So that is my my little thing to keep his mind stimulate, his brain stimulate and going on. However, what I notice as well, if at school, if he doesn't know it, he kind of shut down. He's kind of shut down. So I kind of keep in touch with the teacher, to say, this is him. He's a bit shy. If he doesn't know the thing, he's like, okay, I don't know, so I won't be a part of it. So at home, I try not to rush him. I tell him, if you don't know, tell the teacher that you don't know. If you don't understand, tell the teacher, I do not understand. So the teacher can be able to help you. So when you get home, so my thing is that when he gets home from school, I ask him, what did you learn today? What did you learn today? Did you understand what teacher tell you? Do you understand it? Yes or no? So even in schoolwork, what I do every weekend, I kind of take Saturday and Sunday off. I go through all the incorrect words, the incorrect subjects. He gets incorrect. I go through him with him and say, this is how you do it versus this is how the way you can do it better. So that is my little intervention with him. However, I'm on the path of getting him diagnosed. I'm not a doctor, but I'm trying my best to see where I can move him from the path, the level he is, because he's in grade 4, and the level that he is, he should be at a higher level. So I'm trying my best to see what I can do to help him move forward, moving to grade 5, to see what I can do.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Dr. Omade does have to leave. So thank you so much for serving as a panelist for us tonight.
No, you can't leave me.
If there are any additional questions, though, you can definitely reach out to me, and we can definitely have a conversation about what MedCura looks like. What I want to say is that, for the kids who are here listening or virtually, again, this visit is a little bit different than what you normally do. I just have the scope, but I don't really use it too much, right? So I'm the doc who doesn't bring the shots. And so what that looks like, though, is a lot more talking, a lot more conversation, and it may go a little bit longer, but hopefully through the encounter that we have, we get a better understanding of each other and kind of know how we can best help, okay? Nice meeting you all, and go from there.
All right, let's give Dr. Omade a round of applause. Thank you so much. And Dr. Wilson Phillips, you're alone. You got this.
Catch Dr. Omade within the next 4 months before he leaves.
Absolutely. So he will be a familiar face around McNair. He is currently doing a fellowship at McNair, and it's every Thursday that he's here servicing children. So we're so happy to have him a part of the McNair family. Thank you so much. He dodged a few tough questions too. So. Send him on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Dr. Wilson Phillips, it's on you now. All right. What do you think about the current White House administration not encouraging kids to get vaccinated? You are getting the hot seat.
A child is a product of a mom and dad. And as I've stated before, it is a personal conversation with your child's primary care provider to make decisions about vaccines. It is not a government decision. It's not a school decision. It is personal. And when we speak about your personal health, we're speaking about your personal relationship with your primary care clinician. And so my philosophy is I take care of my personal health. I take care of my children that I take care of daily. I take care of their health. That is my commitment to every child that crosses the threshold of either the mobile unit with Kids Doc on Wheels or crosses the threshold with one of the bricks and mortar locations that MedCura has to offer this community. And so I encourage you to establish that relationship with your primary care provider so that you can be educated based on what your family situation is and not based on what a government organization is recommending. I've never been a part of healthcare where the government was controlling the clinical research and studies that's being done. I haven't practiced like that before. So we heavily rely on the clinical research and what's been done. And for individuals that do not have any connection with it, I have to question what's the motive. So if anything, please make sure that you establish that relationship and not let a vaccine be the reason that you establish a relationship with a primary care provider. That's not doing your child the fair thing in reference to their health.
Thank you. And it is 6:36, so we will take our last question. Any other questions that you all have, you may put them on an index card. We'll take them, and then we will email them to our doctors, and then that way they can give us some responses. Will there be future partnerships to promote mental health in group settings? Forums for children, letting them know about what mental health is offered and how they can be heard or seen for their own concerns.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning of many, I'm sure. And so there will be more forums. There will be more group settings. There will be more age settings, age group settings. You have leadership here in a clinic that is working together to make sure that all concerns for every age group, for the 2 generations or 3 generations that we're serving here in this community are addressed. So it won't be directed just to the children, it will be directed towards the adults also. And so I look forward to participating. I look forward to hearing more about these events. And I do look forward to knowing how widespread this virtual experience was. So please give us feedback on how we can improve this and make it more accessible. But each one of those requests will be addressed.
Thank you. And to add to that, this is a 3-part series. So we will have our next parent town hall meeting February the 28th, and that should be a Thursday. Depending on the time depending on the feedback that you all give us, we'll determine a better time, or if this time is appropriate for everyone, we'll keep this time. But February 28th, that should be a Thursday. See if you could somebody could pull out their calendars and fact check me. It should be a Thursday.
It's February 26th.
February 26th, okay. February 26th, thank you so much. So February 26th will be our next town hall. And we will have more panelists coming to talk about topics, again, such as primary care, resources and supports for families. We have partners such as Georgia Power, Decide DeKalb. Again, of course, we have MedCura that will be hosting these subsequent town halls, but we'll have more partners coming in to talk to you all about any questions that you may have, any resources that you may need. And of course, McNair is always here. And so if you have any additional questions or need anything, obviously we are one phone call away. What I need you all to do now is turn to the back of the agenda. It should be a big QR code. And as Dr. Wilson Phillips stated, we need your input. We need to know if we're meeting your needs. We need to know if these forums and these spaces are beneficial for you. So if you could please take some time to scan the QR code with your smartphone and please give feedback. It is a quick survey. You do not have to answer with your first and last name. It can be anonymous. And let's give Dr. Wilson Phillips a huge round of applause. Come on, y'all. Y'all could do better than that. I mean, she's a doctor, y'all. She took time out of her day to come and talk to us. I mean, so thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
My pleasure. This has been phenomenal. And I'm here to support the school-based health clinic and to make sure that it is a complement to the two generations that we're serving. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to MP Washington, who is our nurse practitioner in the MedCura clinic in the back of the school. And I'm sure you all have met her.
Hi, thank you guys all for coming out. This is not my forte to be behind this podium, so. But I do want to thank everyone for coming out, and also a big kudos to my principal for taking the lead with this town hall meeting. We do have the fun part. I do have some door prizes to give away. Yes. And so for the first person who got here today, the first person to arrive was Miss Holmes. Thank you for being on time, family. And let's see, for the first person to register, Ms. McCleary. There you go. And I was not sure who was the first person to hand me the card for the question. Yeah. Yep, one more. Yep, you can pick.
And our last door prize, I'm an educator, so I'm getting ready to quiz y'all. Yeah, I know, it's late. It's never too late for learning. It's never too late. All right, question. What does STEM stand for? Okay. STEM, what does STEM stand for? Zakari? All 4 letters.
Science.
Okay, for the S and then
Technology.
okay, and then the
Engineer.
Okay, and then the M.
Why would you give me the answer? Math.
All right, is he correct? Woo! Okay. Congratulations, Zakari. Yes, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Congratulations. Okay. MP Washington came with gifts. She came with gifts. The baby. All right, I have a MedCura question. Are we ready? What type of clinic is MedCura? What type of clinic is MedCura?
Psychiatric.
Close. It starts with a P, but not that. Raise your hand high.
Oh. Pediatric.
That is correct. Congratulations. Yes, MedCura is a fully functioning pediatric clinic, meaning they serve children ages, is it 1 or 2? One? 0 to 18 years old. All right, so thank you, Pastor Gord.
So we service the other P of all primary care and health care, including our pregnant women, our women in general, so obstetrics and gynecology, primary care, family health care, technically is what I should say, that we service the entire family through MedCura Health. So we want to take care of your entire family here at school, as well as down the street at our Candler Road location.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson Phillips. And again, the bigger MedCura hub is on Candler Road. So we're like a smaller hub, and then if you just go down the street to Candler, you can be serviced as an adult. They are a primary care clinic. All right, MP Washington is Santa Claus. She got gifts. So we're gonna do some more door prizes. Y'all ready? Yeah, you can't win anymore, Zakari, you already won. All right. Our school is McNair Discovery Learning Academy. Who was our school named after? I need the full name.
I don't know his middle name, but I know it's Ronald E. McNair. Is it Eggleston? Something like that. I don't know.
It is Ronald E. McNair. The E stands for Irwin.
Oh, okay.
Well, close enough. Close enough. Congratulations. Congratulations, Ronald Irwin McNair. Yes, yes, we were named after him. He was an astronaut and scientist. Yes, yes. All right, I'm gonna do a DeKalb question, a DeKalb County question. You guys ready? Yes. Who is our interim superintendent? Who, me? Oh no! Turn the live off, turn the live off. I'm not that. Who is our interim superintendent? I need the full name.
Dr. Norman Sauce.
That is correct. Congratulations. Got more? Okay. All right. I'm gonna use this lady as a prop. Who's this? What's her full title? What is it? Well, we'll say Officer Walker. Officer Walker.
Officer Whopper.
Whopper? Officer Walker, not Whopper, but Walker. Get him his prize. Give him his prize. He got it right. He did. He got it right. Congratulations. Okay, we're good. Okay. What is our school mascot? Our school mascot. We actually get confused a lot with the high school. It is a type of a horse, but what type of horse is it? Uh-oh. Oh, y'all's card. What is it? Absolutely right. Okay, the Holmes household. Okay, all right. All right, y'all. Well, congratulations to our door prize winners. Good job, you all. All right, we are going to go ahead and wrap up for the evening. Thank you so much for coming again. Do not forget to scan the QR code on the back. We really need your feedback to know how we plan for the next town hall and then the next one in March. We will have one February 26th, same location. And in March as well, we will have one. That date is to be determined. And then we will stop our town halls for testing. We do testing in April and typically honors day and field days in May. So we will pick back up next year in September with our next subsequent town hall meeting. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Okay. And last but certainly not least, can you guys please stand up? Stand up, please. Get out your seats. Stand up. I want you guys to turn around towards the TV in the back. And I want you all to thank Pastor Gord and his wife. Because without him, we'd be outside in the cold doing this forum. Thank you so much, Pastor Gord and his wife, for opening up your space. It's late, it's cold, we got a threat of snow coming, but you guys said, you know what, come on. No, it's not, no, Zakari. You coming to school tomorrow, Zakari. But they opened up their space for us to have these conversations, and they're opening up their space for the next couple of town halls. So God bless you all. Pastor Gord and Mrs. Gord, thank you so much for all that you do for our community. Thank you. All right, and you guys can go on home, stay warm. We in school tomorrow. Yes, we are. Y'all come to school. If I could get everybody to come up and get a picture, please. If I could get everybody to come up and get a picture, please. Come on now, we all family. We all family. Who that? Hey, Zay.